when you're not stuck in the classroom from 9 to 4, Monday through Friday, your parents have those opportunities to take you other places or enroll in other programs that can give you those opportunities to learn.
Welcome to Wisdom Beyond the Womb. I'm Trisha Harris with Trisha Harris Photography, and today I'm sitting with Crystal with Bayside Academy. She's going to share about how her micro school can bridge the gap in your child's learning. Hi, Crystal. How are you?
Good. How are you, Trisha?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much. I'm really excited to learn about your school today. Tell me, what's a micro school? What's the academy? All the things that we need to know.
So Bayside Academy is a micro school for K through 12 students who are looking for non-traditional educational opportunities. So parents can partner with us to do homeschool education at our physical location. We're in the building 3 days a week, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays from 9 to 3. And what inspired it was I felt like my children didn't quite fit the public school, charter school, private school model. And so we were looking to homeschool and just talking with other families in the community. They just needed a place where their kids could go so they could continue to work. Because a lot of our families in the community are dual income households. And so they need someplace where their kids could still go, but they want that option to homeschool their children.
So how do you differ from that charter school, private school model?
So our model falls under the homeschool umbrella with the Department of Education in Florida's laws and rules, and we don't have an attendance policy. We follow the homeschool criteria set by Brevard County Schools, and students file their letter of intent, and we keep their portfolio for them, or the parents can keep it. We partner with the parent to decide what they want, and we can provide the education that parents want for their children.
So by providing that education, are you picking the curriculum and saying this is what everyone's doing, or is it customized to that family and what they want?
It is customized. So parents are fully in charge of their child's education at this point. So we look at the child as a whole person, where their strengths are, where their weaknesses, any gaps that they need to fill in their curriculum, and to build those foundations. And I offer suggestions based on a conversation with the parents during enrollment to find out where their child fits best. And do they want an online curriculum? Do they want more paper-based? Do they want secular or non-secular? And that means non-religious based or religious based. And we provide that for their children.
I love that, because all these topics come up in the homeschool groups, and parents feel lost and they don't know what to do. And it seems like you're really bridging those gaps by coming alongside them and helping them. What about parents that have children that are in the public school? How are you transitioning them?
Great question. So we help the parents navigate the system, because until you ask those questions, you just don't know where to go. So I provide the link for the letter of intent and tell them, fill out this, email it here, and get started there. And then they can pull their child whenever they're ready and withdraw their child from that school. And then I request the academic portfolio of that child, their transcripts, any documents that the school has, and then just work with picking a curriculum. And if they enroll their child today, they could start tomorrow in homeschool, and it's that quick of a transition.
That's awesome. How do you find the kids transition?
Really well, because a lot of the students that come to us, they want to be homeschooled, or they're already have siblings that homeschool, and or friends, cousins, whoever. And so students come to us just ready to learn, and we just have a more relaxed environment for those children, and they just naturally come right in and get started. They see everyone else working, and so they're just ready to get started.
They're ready to roll. And they're pretty accepted by the other kids too, I would imagine.
Yeah, because they feel like now they have those friendships, and that's something that everyone always talks about homeschool is, oh, how is my child going to socialize? But if we think about public school, you're not there to socialize. They really don't foster those friendships. They're there to learn. It's a very structured environment, so they really don't have those opportunities to just chat with their peers. Where in our classroom, everyone comes in, we give about a 15-20 minute transition time where they can choose an activity that they want to work on, and whether that's pulling from our STEM cabinet of toys, I don't really call them toys, educational opportunities, or go to coloring, or whatever just interests them, to kind of decompress from home to school, give them that transition time, and then they just get started with their work when we direct them, and they get to pick the subjects that they're working on as well. So they know their lesson plan or their learning path for that day. And if they want to get started with math, go right ahead. If you want to get science out of the way, then let's do that. So they can pick, do they want to pick their favorite subject or their least favorite subject in that moment? When students have control over their learning, they kind of flow into it more naturally than being forced into those topics.
Less fighting, I would imagine.
Yeah. Yeah.
From the child,
Right.
Speaking from experience, right? So tell me, when parents are dropping them off, is it a true drop-off program, or do parents stay, or is both welcomed?
It is a true drop-off program. And so where we're at, like to thank Wesley Church for hosting us right now. And we have 2 classrooms there, and the parents can pull right up to the curb and truly drop their children off and go on their way. And I would say 90% of our parents are working parents. So they drop off and then they come at the end of the day, just like a traditional car loop, but it's really quick. It's like 2 minutes and we have the students ready for them and they pick up and go.
Awesome. So now some students I know in the public schools, they'll have an IEP or a 504 plan. Does that translate to your academy?
It does. So my first career is in occupational therapy. So I'm very familiar with IEPs and 504s. And then in Bayside Academy, we can implement those things. So I review all IEPs and 504s and see what those students needed in those traditional classrooms and how we can implement that in our classroom. But at the same time, you'll hear from a lot of our parents, their children are thriving and need less of those services because of our model. The students can choose their own seating. We have flexible seating options and they don't need to ask permission or be assigned a seat. They can just go to those freely. They can stand if they want. We pull tables outside and they can work outside, right outside the classroom if they would like to. And so we can implement. We haven't had anything we can't implement at this point.
I love that.
Yeah.
So what does a typical day start and end?
So drop-off is about 9 o'clock in the morning, and we have flexibility with that as well. If students come at 9:30, 10 o'clock, it's non-punitive. So they're not tardy. They don't have to miss the day. They just get dropped off. We start with our core academics in the morning. And again, the students get to pick what topic they would like to work on. We have a morning recess and an afternoon recess for our elementary classroom. And then our junior, senior high classroom has PE in the afternoons. And then we do lunch at about 11:30 and 11:30 to 12. And again, the students get to pick where they're eating their lunch at. If we roll into the afternoon with some core curriculum, we have that opportunity. Otherwise, we transition to STEM activities and arts and crafts and things that interest the children. Every Wednesday, we have a STEM science teacher who comes. And starting in May, every Thursday, we're going to have financial literacy for these students, where somebody from Launch Credit Union is coming and talking about age-appropriate banking and financial planning and credit cards and consumer debt, that sort of thing.
I love that. That's so important for our kids to learn.
Yeah.
So you mentioned junior high and high school.
Mm-hmm.
I know that's probably the scariest time for parents to think about homeschooling a child, because how are we preparing them for college?
Mm-hmm.
How does your academy help prepare them for that next step of college and graduation to ensure credits are being met?
So we, again, partner with the parents at that time, throughout the entire time, and the students as well. Where do they want to go after high school? Not all students are college bound. And so if they're looking at more of a trade school, then let's focus on that. If they are college bound, then we're looking at where do they want to go and what credits are needed to enroll in that college. We can also follow the Florida Department of Education's kind of guidelines for what credits students should have at graduation. And if they would like to dual enroll, then we're ready, and we already have one dual enrolled student. The great thing about it is students can dual enroll as early as they're ready to. As soon as they're taking high school credits, they can start dual enrollment. And this is how you've got students who are, the latest one I saw was she's 10 years old and graduating with her AS at a college right now.
That's
and
awesome.
Ready to go. I think actually she just finished her bachelor's and going to Harvard.
Wow.
Because she was ready to. But for our students, we'll partner with the parents to make sure that the students are meeting the goals of their child. We issue transcripts and diplomas. A lot of colleges are now seeking out homeschool students because they typically have a more well-rounded childhood because of different learning opportunities that the students can engage in. When you're not stuck in the classroom from 9 to 4, Monday through Friday, your parents have those opportunities to take you other places or enroll in other programs that can give you those opportunities to learn.
That's great. It's
Yeah.
really awesome for the students, for the parents. Do you offer tours of your facilities for people to come and see?
We do. Yep. And we're open anytime we're there, those Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. But if parents need Mondays and Fridays and later evenings, we'll absolutely meet them. They just won't get to see the classroom in action. But we don't limit our tours to a specific date or time because we want that authentic experience for parents to see what our classroom is like on a daily basis.
Awesome. And then when it comes to time off, you mentioned that you don't keep attendance, but are people able to take their own summer breaks when they want, and like spring breaks, winter breaks, like, or are you like setting that calendar for them?
So we operate year round to, one, prevent that summer slide, but also offer parents that opportunity to take vacations when they need to, when they want to. And it's non-punitive. So if they want to take a spring break in February before everyone else is out for the spring breaks, they can. They're not tied to those traditional public school calendars. And that works well because not all parents can take off time during the summer when their kids are on break, or the winter break. That's the most expensive time of the year to travel. And not all parents want to travel during that time, so they're able to take breaks when they would like to.
All right. I love that. Yeah. I love traveling on the off seasons personally.
It is.
So you're not in school, or the academy's students aren't eating every day. What's it look like those days off? What should they be doing so the parents can have that expectation of, well, it's not a 5-day-a-week program, so what am I doing the other days?
Yeah. So we can send a curriculum home with the children. Some of our students are on a Monday through Friday plan because that's what the parents would like. Some students are only schooled Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays because that works best for the parents. So we work with you to decide what do you want for your child. And if you're taking a vacation, we can just pause that, and then they pick up where they left off when they come back. So they're not missing content like they would be in traditional schools or having to make up content. Going year round gives us the opportunity to fill those gaps when needed.
Great. You mentioned enrichment things like having Launch Credit Union come and teach that, the science STEM class.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any off-site field trips that you take the students on?
We haven't yet because we are so new that we would need a bus. And so that's on our goal list of acquiring a small transit van or something that we can take students on field trips.
Very cool. What's your long-term vision, since you know that sounds like that's one of those big visions? What's another like overall long-term vision for the academy in this area?
So we want to keep our model as a micro school with very small classrooms, no more than about 15 students per classroom. And so we're looking to open additional locations across Brevard County and beyond. And we just need to partner with other facilities that can offer space for us to have those traditional classrooms for our elementary school and our junior, senior high students. And even opening maybe more directed to medical complex students who aren't quite the right fit for public school because of their medical needs, and having a space for them to come to as well, because all students deserve that opportunity to be in a classroom of some sort and have that learning experience.
I love that. How do we get in touch with you to find out more, to set up a tour, to set up a overview of if it's the right fit for my child?
So you can go to our website at www.baysideacademyfl.org. My phone number is cell phone, so you can call or text at 321-451-6282. And my email is crystal@baysideacademyfl.org.
Wonderful. I love that.
Thank you.
And then tell me, since you're still new, but you've had about a year now in progress, so tell me some success story of a child transitioning to your school and what has happened from that.
So we've only been in operation about 6 months now. We have about 26 students enrolled already. And one of my favorites is a girl who came from public school. She was really struggling with math, and it's turning out to be her not favorite subject at that point. And so being able to go back to find out where she was most successful and most confident in her math skills and start there and building those foundations, she really needed that extra time. And then building her up, and now she's more on grade level in just a few months than she was before. And that's because we work at the student's pace with that. Now her other subjects she was great in, her English, science, and so those kept progressing on grade level, and we're able to split her grade levels that way that we can go back for ones that she was struggling in, but keep her on pace of her other ones. And it's a non-punitive system, so they really don't know what grade level they're on in a way, because we can flex it as needed.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for coming by today and sharing this. I know so many people are going to gain so much insight from the different options that the homeschool umbrella is doing through your academy. So thank
Yeah.
you for being here today.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.